Bitcoin briefly falls below $30,000 as US April inflation level announced. Bitcoin has demonstrated a loss of 4% of its price within just an hour when the report of US CPI in April came out, dropping below the crucial level of $30,000. The document shows that inflation rate has proved to be higher than was expected initially. $406 million in crypto trades liquidated. Within an hour, the overall amount of liquidations constituted nearly $500 million US. A total of 158 million longs were liquidated on Binance alone, and 139 million worth of liquidations was seen on OKX. Wu on blockchain tweeted, with the announcements of the higher than expected CPI in the United States, Bitcoin fell below $30,000, a drop of 4% in 1 hour, and Luna was close to $1. The amount of liquidations on the entire network in 1 hour reached 200 million. Coinbase fell 25% in pre-market trading. CPI 8.3% higher than expected. The original expected rate was 8.1. The report on April CPI Consumer Price Index was expected to show that the US economy had already gone through an inflation peak, which would probably have soothed the market for a while. However, the report shows a 0.2% uptick in April, which means 8.3 year over year. The latter indicator was expected to rise by only 8.1%. The core inflation rate surged 0.6% last month, which was 0.3% greater in March. If Bitcoin breaks the 30,000 level or go below it, $10,000 will follow. Peter Swift. In January, when the biggest cryptocurrency declined to $30,000, prominent Bitcoin hater Peter Swift shared that should Bitcoin break under 30,000, it would then extend its decline below the $10,000 zone. He then repeated the expectation on May 9th, launching a Twitter poll to see how many of his followers would store the Bitcoin should it break below $30,000 and how many would sell. Back then, 54 of the respondents intended to hold their Bitcoin. Now, I do agree. For the long term, I'll hold my Bitcoin as well. But before we continue, have a look at Wolf Financials. The official pre-sale date is 11th of August. Revolutioning the world of decentralized finance with Wolfswap, a decentralized exchange coming to us. And now you have the opportunity to get in early since the pre-sale is only in August. And looking at them and being an advisor, they're doing everything to be totally prepared and ready to launch as soon as the pre-sale is done. Exchange inflows spike as LFG moves Bitcoin reserves. The Luna Foundation Guard was forced to send majority of its holdings to exchanges as it tried to hold the dollar peg for its Terra stablecoin. LFG exchange inflows. As a result of this week's house, exchanges had an estimated 52,333 of Bitcoin inflows, largely driven by the depletion of the Luna Foundation reserve balance. This doesn't change the larger macro trend of exchange outflows over the last 2 years, but it's the largest daily inflow of Bitcoin to exchanges since November 2017 and the all-time highest USD value of Bitcoin moved. All this happened in more or less 1 day. Rumors run riot as USD collapse amid Yellen report on stablecoins. Now, if these rumors are true, rumors around the block allege Citadel Capital and Janet Yellen were somehow involved in shorting Terra's stablecoin USD. The rumors are circulating online that Citadel's capital may be behind the USD crash as Janet Yellen announced a report on stablecoins. The hedge fund, which is well known for its involvement in the shorting of GameStop in 2021, may now be involved in shorting Luna, and the mass sell-off of USD that started early this week. An unnamed source denied the rumor, stating, "From a factual standpoint, Citadel does not trade stablecoins, including USD." The leak comes from an anonymous post online citing that Citadel borrowed 100K Bitcoin and used it to short USD. Critics also note that Janet Yellen recently revealed plans for a stablecoin report. Yellen hired Citadel to break USD peg so US government can increase regulatory scrutiny on crypto, sent tweet. Yellen announced the report since stablecoins threaten financial stability until the Terra USD depegging. The biggest threat from the point of view of the crypto community was the apparent lack of transparency around Tether's reserves. However, the risk is evident today as USD trades well below its dollar peg. Bitcoin analyst Dennis Porter stated, "Mark my words, the USD failure will be used as evidence by policy makers to regulate stablecoins to dev and champion CBDCs. This is not good." Well, if they want to use a failure, they implement it. Then regular stablecoins is not the real use for them. Let's see what Yellen said in the tweet. Make sure it's there.
I would note that there was a report just this morning in the Wall Street Journal that a stable coin known as Terra USD experienced a run and had declined in value. And I think that simply illustrates that this is a rapidly growing product, and that there are risks to financial stability, and we need a framework that's appropriate.
In my opinion, where's the risk in the framework? If the government of the United States was implementing the failure. Leave me your thoughts and concerns down below in the comments. Citadel has previously declared its desire to become market makers in the crypto space, but currently there's no hard evidence to suggest they are behind the crash. Another rumor surfaced that Jumped Capital, a supporter of Terra, is preparing a $2 billion bailout package for USD. Whether this is true or not, the need for a bailout makes one think about the origins of crypto when banks' bailouts were seen as part of the motivation behind Bitcoin's creation. If stablecoins need bailouts from hedge funds, is that different from banks' government bailouts? Depending how the failure was implemented. Some more breaking news. Meta's Mark Zuckerberg says NFTs are coming to both Instagram and Facebook. Meta CEO and founder Mark Zuckerberg says the technology conglomerate is experimenting with digital collectibles on two of its biggest social media brands. Zuckerberg says that Meta will initially test non-fungible tokens on Instagram and then Facebook before rolling out NFTs to other apps. We are starting building the NFTs not just in our own metaverse and Reality Labs work, but also across our family of apps. And one of the new things that I wanted to announce and share today is we're starting to test digital collectibles on Instagram so that creators and collectors can display their NFTs. I'm really excited to start testing this. We're going to bring similar functionality to Facebook soon too, and then maybe to other apps in our family. Zuckerberg also says that Meta is working on functionality that will allow content creators to publish 3D NFTs to Instagram stories using augmented reality platform Spark AR Studio. We're also, going to work on augmented reality NFTs, basically 3D NFTs that you can bring to Instagram stories using Spark AR. Now, my question is, Meta and Facebook tried to bring out their own crypto coin and stablecoin, but it was a failure. Will they be able to succeed in the NFT industry? A huge part of this, I think, is about expression, saying something about yourself. What do you want on your profile? What the collection that you want to show? And maybe there's financial component about that, and that people's bought these things and maybe they want to sell them at some point. But a lot of it's about expression, certainly in the context of a social network that makes sense. The CEO singly about 2 months ago that Instagram will be incorporating NFTs. True, it didn't reveal the specific rollout day at the time. I don't mind when the rollout day is going to be. What I do mind, will they be ready the moment they roll it out? Galaxy Digital board approves share buybacks as its stock price tanks. Galaxy Digital announced in an update on Wednesday that it would commence a share buyback program of approximately 10.6 million shares, or 10% of the company's public float. The crypto investment manager explained the operational notice that it may use repurchases opportunistically at times when it believes that the current market price of its shares does not reflect the intrinsic value, and that purchasing its own ordinary shares is consistent with the objective of creating long-term shareholder value. The share price for Galaxy, which is listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange, has declined more than 34% in the last 5 days of trading alone. As of press time, it's down roughly 10% today, according to Yahoo Finance. The move comes just days after Galaxy reported that it had swung to a first quarter loss, as tumbling crypto prices forced the firm to book unrealized trading losses. It reported a net loss of $111.7 million in the first quarter of 2022, compared to a profit of $858.2 million in the same period last year. Galaxy billionaire CEO Mike told Bloomberg earlier this week he expected the digital asset market to be volatile and difficult for at least the next few quarters. I agree, we're seeing turmoil, we're seeing a volatile market. But does governments have effect on the current volatile markets? If the rumors are true about USD, are governments causing it? What's your thoughts? Smash that like and subscribe button and leave me a comment down below.